Welcome to the Rethink Your Lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Boyd Waters. It's been a bit of a rough week with the end of the semester and final projects due soon in my graduate school classes. I also have several projects that need to be organized as part of my graduate assistant work, so I'm juggling quite a few moving parts. It can be a tiny bit stressful, but it's all worth it because it's all part of my vision, which is what I'm excited to talk to you about. My guest today is Oklahoma City area entrepreneur Mandy Sawyer. She used to teach middle school English language arts, and so she's my people because she taught English language arts and even longer than I did. But she now runs a business as a podcast host and vision coach, helping people dream big. This is exactly the interview that I needed right now because my Facebook account was hacked and I may have lost both my Facebook profile and my main Instagram accounts. Fortunately, my dream is not lost, and I'll explain how during our break. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Are you ready to take control of your life? Then you've come to the right place. The Rethink Your Lifestyle podcast is here to help entrepreneurs like you start, grow, and scale the online business you love. Join host Michelle Waters as she shares her journey from the classroom to the freedom of being her own boss. She'll interview inspiring entrepreneurs and share tips and insights along the way. All right, without any further ado, let's get this show started.
Hackers broke into my Facebook account and got both it and my main Instagram accounts disabled. But this has not impacted my business income at all. How? If you're running your business entirely on Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, Amazon, or any other third-party site, your business is vulnerable. Head over to rethinkyourlifestyle.com/protectyourbusiness to learn how to keep your business up and running even when your social media is down. That's rethinkyourlifestyle.com/protectyourbusiness. Welcome back to the Rethink Your Lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Boyd Waters, and I am here with Mandy Sawyer. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's kind of weird for me because I'm usually on the other side and interviewing other people for my podcast. So it's nice to be to try this out. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I've done that recently as well. It's like, this is so strange. I'm not having to remember to click that record button.
Right. Exactly. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Okay. I guess I just talk. All right.
Just keep talking. That works. Speaking of talking, if you could tell us about yourself, kind of who you are as a teacher and, what happened and who you are now.
So I taught middle school English for 15 years, mostly in Oklahoma City, mostly in Title I schools. And if you're an educator, you know what I'm talking about. So some pretty rough areas and pretty, with a lot of students that have a lot of needs. So it was very challenging, to say the least. There was just one day, it just finally all came to a head, and I was out on my porch and just bawling my eyes out because I was so full, so overwhelmed. I had been working late hours, as teachers always do. I'd been working weekends, and it was just getting to me, and I like in a bad way. So much anxiety, so much stress. And I was just bawling my eyes out, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, how did I get to this point? And I was knocking on the door of my 50th birthday, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening here? Why do I feel this way? Why have I not, accomplished certain things I had thought I would accomplish by now? I don't want to be miserable. So all the things, and I had finally decided that it was time to leave. It was just time to leave the classroom and try something else. And even if that meant I fell flat on my face, it was okay. I was just going to give it a shot because I didn't want to have any regrets. And it was not an easy decision to make. It was very, very difficult because, we have all the ideals, all the, we want to help all of our students. We want to, don't want to give up. Like, I'm not a quitter. And so I was not about that. Like, I didn't want to be looked at like I was a quitter. And I didn't want to quit myself. But I think really what was happening is that I was quitting myself in just a different way. I've realized that I was way more loyal to everyone else around me than I was being to myself and to my health. And little did I know at the time, I also had an underlying health condition going on. I found out about that like a year later, and I can talk more about that in a little bit. But it was just time, and it was hard. When I talked to my principal about it, she was also my friend and she was she happened to be she was my mentor teacher my very first year of teaching. So we've kind of come full circle, and so I didn't want to let her down, so there were all these things that were compounding the whole, oh my God, what do I do if I don't teach,
You probably had a serious case of teacher guilt, which I talked about in a couple episodes ago.
Oh my God. Yes. Because you feel like I'm quitting on these kids. And, but you have to come. And one of the things I used to tell like student teachers that would come to my classroom or observers and stuff like that, I'd tell them like, look, you have to learn how to let yourself off the hook, because you cannot save every kid. And it doesn't mean that you can't speak life to them, doesn't mean that you can't plant seeds in their lives, but you cannot save every kid. And you have to be okay with that.
And we can't even save anyone. We can plant seeds, and then they run with them.
Exactly. So I told my principal, I can't do this anymore. Like my health is going down. I had never had problems with anxiety or panic attacks. I'd hear people talking about them or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I was on the verge of them, because I felt like the only way I can describe it is I felt like I was about to jump out of my skin all the time. Like I was about to just jump out of my skin. And I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but that was the only way I could describe it. And I couldn't sleep. I was exhausted. I didn't have any motivation to do anything at all. Even on our breaks, even on the summer breaks, like I would not gain any more energy back. Like after all that time of, being off and being able to sleep and all that kind of stuff, I still wouldn't get my energy back or my motivation back or whatever. So, and every single year I would tell myself, okay, well, next year will be better. Next year will be better. Next year will be better. I'll change this. I'll change that. I'll change schools. I'll change districts or, whatever. I'll try to change it up to see if I can do something better, see if it'll get better. I don't know. And it just didn't get better for me. It did not get better. It just got worse. All the things just got worse.
Yeah. And that's kind of sounds like what happened with me is I started experiencing health issues that I'd never experienced before.
Yeah.
And I just realized that I needed to do something different. And I didn't want, like you said, I didn't want to quit. And so, for me, I felt like I needed to think, okay, instead of I'm just going to stop what I'm doing and go home and, sit there, I need to figure out what else am I going to do. So I had to have something to go to. And I'm thinking that's what it sounds like you have mentioned that you were going to do or did.
Yeah. So I had already been dabbling in creating resources for teachers to put on Teachers Pay Teachers and sell. I'd actually bought a whole course from Casey Morris. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's made a ton of money doing that and then teaching others how to do it. And so I was following her. I was following a lot of other online entrepreneurs, just kind of seeing what they were doing. And for years I was always Googling, what can I do with an English education degree besides teach? And I've done editing for people and proofreading and things like that and on the side. But I just always felt like there was something else, something more, something I wanted to do. I wanted to be in charge. I wanted to be in charge of my life. I wanted to be in charge of when I get up in the morning, because I hate alarm clocks. Yes.
When I get up in the morning, when I go to the bathroom, I want to be my own boss.
Yes. I want, and even talking about the bathroom, like even now, like I've not been in a school setting for 2 years. Even now, I'll be sitting at my computer, I'll be working. I'm like, why can't I concentrate? Oh yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm like, hey, I can do this now.
Yes.
So breaking those terrible habits of like not even being able to go to the bathroom. Anyway, so owning a teacher net. Well, I'm sure there's other professions that deal with that as well, but that's definitely a common conversation that we all have as teachers.
Teachers will totally get that.
Yes. Oh, so anyway, so I dabbled in all these different things on the side, trying to figure out what do I want to do, whatever. And so I had previously, I don't know if it was like during that fall because it was like around January, February when I decided I was going to leave. I was going to finish out my contract, which ended in June, but I had told my principal, I think in February. It was before we went on spring break, and that was before I made the decision before COVID hit. So,
oh wow,
so I know all the people that have been sticking it out through COVID. Oh dear God, I love you, and I'm so sorry, and I'm praying for you because I know they're having a time. It's awful. So anyway, before that I had decided, you know what, I think I want to create a vision board, and so I started Googling things and getting ideas and I started asking friends, I'm like, do you want to do a vision board party with me or come over and let's do vision boards? And they're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, but I wouldn't know what to put on it, or I have no idea what to do.
Or maybe even what is a vision board?
Yes. So I was Googling things and I was seeing things like 15 steps to create your vision board and 10 steps. I'm like, 15 steps? Oh, I can do that in 3. Because, do you use exit tickets in your classroom?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So one of my favorite exit tickets is a 3-2-1 exit ticket. So, if you're reading a story, three things I learned today, 2 questions I still have, and 1 opinion I have about the article, or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take, because at the time I was actually, I had created one on slides and stuff because we were virtual at that point. Well, actually I was working for a virtual school that year anyway, but so I was creating these slides and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to change this into a brainstorming guide. I called it a brainstorming guide at first, but for vision boards, because, especially people who have no idea what they are or have no idea how to get started, like they don't need 15 steps. They just need it to be simplified. Just give me 3 steps and I can handle it. Right. So that's what I did. I made a 3-step vision guide for helping people figure out what they want to put on their vision board. And it kind of came from the 3-2-1 exit ticket. So,
okay. I like that. How you combine something that you were doing as a teacher with something that you're having entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs or people trying to get out of teaching do.
Yes. So, and also, one thing I connect it to as well is like if you use anchor charts in your classroom, your vision board is like your personal anchor chart, right? And what do we use anchor charts for? Well, we have information on there or a concept on there for our students, and we refer to them often, point it out to the kids. Here's, this is how you do this, whatever math problem, or this is how you, these are the definitions of this different type of figurative language. And so you refer to it often so that they can get it, right? So that they can get the concept, so they can get it in their head and get it in their brain. Well, that's what your vision board does. That's what your vision board is for. It's to refer back to your dreams and your goals, to keep you focused, to keep you on track, to keep you keep those positive things in your head instead of all the negative stuff that's being thrown at you and the negative internal stories that we tell ourselves or whatever. You counteract that with the things that are on your vision board. So.
And speaking of those negative internal stories, I scroll through Pinterest looking at anchor charts, and I'm probably going to start scrolling and looking at vision boards too. But one of the things that I always notice is that these Pinterest or these anchor charts are so cute, but mine are never. Mine were
never cute. Mine were like, what? I need this right now. Okay, slap this up there. Let's do this. Or I'd have the kids do it.
Yeah.
So, which, they take a little more ownership that way. But yeah, I get you on that. I was never the Pinterest teacher at all. Yeah, like my next door, my friend, she was next door to me, and like hers was like the no drama llama class. And it was so cute, and like I would make mine like a beach theme because that's where I really wanted to be rather than there. So I was like trying to make it my, escape kind of, or like in my happy place.
So I guess that means mine was like a book and paper theme because I had books everywhere. Piles of
okay, so
everywhere.
I'm not the only one. Yeah. Yes, I had piles. My desk was an absolute nightmare all the time. Like I would recruit kids that I'd just say, okay, how many of you, who in here is really super good at organizing?
Yes.
They'd raise their hands. I'm like, okay, finish your work and then come over here and clean my desk, please.
Yes, you're super organized. You're done with your work, and you feel sorry for me. Please come clean my desk.
Oh, and see, like I always had this rule: like you do not touch my desk. Like it was a big time. Like, are you touching my desk? Don't touch my desk. Like if something gets broken or stolen from my desk, and I see that you were the last person near it, who am I going to blame? They're like me. I'm like, yes. So do not touch my desk. So they knew how I was about it. So they knew that if I was asking somebody to come over and touch my desk, it was a big deal.
Yeah, I went the opposite route. I had that kid clean the desk, and then I thought, you know what? If I get the kid who's bouncing all over the place and not focusing, if I make him feel good about himself by having him sit at my desk, he'll actually get things done, and nobody's around him. And so, keep the desk clean, and then sit the kid who's struggling at the desk, and suddenly
exactly.
problems are solved. So, hey, and then I'm not at the desk to mess it up. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're always got to go for those wins. Oh, man. Any way you can get them. That's funny.
Yeah, so going back to these vision boards, there are some of us that are crafty that are probably listening to this, making their lists for, Michael's or Hobby Lobby already. And then there's me like going, okay, I could get in so much trouble in that store, but I don't know what I'm getting. So what do I need to create a vision board?
Let me talk real quick about like 5 essentials that I think that you need for creating a vision board. And one is that you need a planning. Like you need to sit down and plan out, like, what do I want on my vision board? What is it that what do I dream of? And so that's why I made that 3-step vision guide that I talked about earlier. So, and you can get that on my website. It's mandysawyer.com. It's for free. You can download it. So you need to decide strategically where you're going to place your board. Like, where is it? Where are you going to see it every single day, preferably multiple times a day, so that it is there already where you already are going to be. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm looking at my walls here at my desk.
Good. So if it's in your office space, if it's next to your bed, if it's, in the bathroom next to the toilet, whatever, or on the refrigerator, if it's your health goals or something like that, it can just figure out first where it is that you're going to put it, because that can kind of determine like what size you want it and things like that, and what kind of canvas you want to use. So
would you recommend having more than one vision board?
Yeah, that depends on the person, really. That's just kind of, if it's too much, then no. But if it works out for you and you want, let's say you just want to focus in on some health goals, and you want a smaller board just for health goals, or a big board, whatever. Yeah. Then yes, just focus on those and make that a vision board. And then maybe you just want to focus on those, and maybe let's say you want to focus on I don't know, family relationships or something like that. Right. And so you want to make a board for that. So maybe that would go like, say, in your living room or somewhere where the family room or something like that. Yeah. So you you just kind of plan that out, figure out, do I want to focus on a lot of different categories of my life, and make one big board or a couple of boards and place them in different places? Or do I want to make, specific boards that are just for specific categories like health or business or whatever? So if you just want to make it a business one to put in your office space or whatever. So then you want to choose your canvas, right? Okay. So there are a bazillion of things that you could use for canvas. The go-to canvases are obviously poster boards and foam boards. Foam board is more sturdy, but you can use, like, especially teachers, like if you wanted to do vision boards in your classroom, go buy a package of copy paper, of the colored copy paper, or just regular copy paper. Yeah. And those can be their vision boards. I used to love to get colored copy paper for specific assignments, and I called it pretty paper. So they, for some reason, that made it all, this made it so much better. It's if we call it pretty paper, it's all in the wording, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a friend of mine who did a little vision board party, dream boarding and things with her kiddos. And they just used construction paper. Yeah. You could use cork board, because you can move things around easily with the push pins. Whiteboard that's magnetic, you can easily move things around on that. A chalkboard, even if you're creative and you want to use chalk because it's fun. Even an actual like painting canvas or a picture frame. You can just attach your pictures and stuff to the insert thing, whatever you call it, that's inside the picture frame. Amazon box, like cut up that Amazon box. If you've got nothing else to work with, I bet you have an Amazon box, right? That you can cut up and create different sizes. So yeah. So that's your canvas. And then you can just, you can use magazines or different pieces of mail or whatever that come in that have different graphics on them. If you're looking for images and stuff to go on your vision board that will represent the things that you have wanted to put on there, like junk mails, flyers. You can also print pictures off the internet. I use pixabay.com a lot and unsplash.com. They're really good because you can get some really good free images there that you can download and print off. And And then if you wanted to do a digital one, you can use my digital Canva templates that are in my shop on my website. They're only $5. So mandysawyer.com/shop. You can find those.
All right.
So yeah, so those are your essentials. Like get my guide, my free guide to help you brainstorm and figure out what you want to put on your board, and then decide where you're going to put it, and choose your canvas, and then just decide how many life categories you want to cover on your vision board, and then have fun searching for the pictures and the affirmations and the quotes that you want to put on it. Fun.
I'm thinking about all this, and I'm wondering what kind of time period should this cover? I mean, are we thinking like a 5 to 10 year plan or something else?
That's a good question. In my 3-step guide, I like to cover kind of short-term and long-term goals. Mm-hmm. The first step would be like, ask yourself, what 3 outlandish dreams do I want to manifest in my life in the next 5 to 10 years? And then you write them down on your planning page, and write them down in present tense as if they're already happening. Okay. Not future tense, not like I will, be debt free. Just I am debt free, right? Okay. And then the second step is write down 2 outlandish dreams that you want to manifest in your life in the next year, and using the same thing, same idea, present tense verbs. The third one is to determine what one goal do you want to focus on for the next 30 days, and how do you want to accomplish that, and what are the steps that you can take to do that. And then you just find your images and affirmations and things that go along with those things that you've written down on that vision guide.
And so it sounds like basically you collect your supplies, you kind of make your plans. Some people might just do that in their head. Other people might, write an outline or something. And then you just start putting it together and making it happen.
Right. Some people really prefer like the collage look, but some people need it to be a lot neater, like in rows or columns, or, more just neater. That's a little tidier, I guess.
Yeah, some people are a little bit more linear, and other people are a little bit more organic, like, a chart versus a mind map.
So yeah, it just depends on your personality, depends on who you are. And that's the cool thing about a vision board. Number one, it's super simple. It's such a simple tool to use. It's not costly, but it's very powerful, and it's very personal. Yours is not going to look like anybody else's, and that's good. It's personal to you, and you don't want to compare it to anybody else's. It's just all about what you want, how you want it to look, and like what's best for your mind and how you process information.
Absolutely. And I'm also thinking too, this doesn't have to be set in stone, and probably isn't going to be literally.
No.
I know when you're 40 years ago, 50 years ago, teachers, they went into the classroom, they taught for 20, 30, 40 years, and then they retired. And today it's not quite like that. And when you leave the classroom, you sometimes don't know what things are going to look like in 5 or 10 years. So you can make plans and start thinking, okay, if I want to do this, then today I need to, get this certification, or I need to get that experience. But it might shift on the other end in the future as you learn more and figure out more what you want to do. So
absolutely,
you can move things around and yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it is a working document. I mean, do a new one as often as you want to do it, right? And you don't have to wait till December 31st or January 1st or 2nd to do it. You can create a vision board anytime you want.
Absolutely. And add to it, take away from it. You realize, wait a second, I so do not want to do that job. So that's going away.
Exactly. And another thing I have found just using my vision board is that a lot of times if you're focusing on too many goals all at one time, I mean, you always want to have the big picture up there anyway. That's why I talk about like accomplishing one goal in the next 30 days, just one thing at a time where you're really focusing all of your energy. Because if you focus all of your energy and spread it out too much to too many different goals, then you're not really going to get a lot of traction. And then you're going to not be motivated. If you focus in on one and really, really work on that one, you're more apt to achieve it. And at the same time, you might end up achieving some of the other goals that you weren't really focused on, but it just happened that way. That's how it happened with me with my health journey. I bought this red dress when I was turning 49 because I wanted to go dancing in my red dress, right? And so, but I waited too late. I bought it online, and it was like the week of, and I get it, and I'm so excited, right? And I put it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot squish myself into this dress, and I can't zip it at all, and I'm just bummed. I'm like, dadgummit, so I guess I'm wearing something else. I still ended up having fun on my birthday. But so what does every smart woman do? We put it in the closet, right? Because we're going to get into that one day, right?
Absolutely.
So then I found a picture of a red dress in a magazine and I slapped it on my vision board, right? And so it's on there. I'm seeing it every day when I talk out my vision board. And the following year in May, after I turned 50, that's when I learned I have Hashimoto's disease, which is, if you don't know what that is, that's when your immune system attacks your thyroid. So, which explained a lot of the fatigue and the brain fog and that I still have right now. All kinds of digestion issues. I mean, just all kinds of stuff, right? All the inflammation and pain in my body and the anxiety and things like that too. It's all connected. So I'm like, okay. And that was a slap in the face. That was like, okay, Mandy, you can't piddle around anymore. Like, you need to have been getting your health back and all that kind of stuff. But like during COVID, we ate a lot of chicken nachos and a lot of Mexican food. It was so good. But so it was just a slap in the face. Like, okay, this is it. And so I went, okay, I have to change everything. So another lady I had met, it was another teacher actually from Florida I had met online. And I happened to be talking to her about it. She's like, hey, you need to look up AIP diet. I'm like, okay. Cause she's like, I have Hashimoto's too. So you look up AIP. I was like, okay. So I look it up and I'm hating it, but like I dive in, and as much as I knew how, I immediately started the very next day after I found out that I have Hashimoto's. I started the very next day on that diet, and I've been on that diet for 8 months now.
Oh, wow.
And in the process of it all, I have done, tons of research, because we teachers do that.
Oh, yeah.
About Hashimoto's, about AIP and all that stuff. And then one day I was like aimlessly wandering around Natural Grocers, frustrated, foggy headed, shouldn't even been driving that day, to be honest, because it was so bad. And I had this list of things, of supplements and different things to try, but I'm like, I didn't know which thing to try next, and I was stuck, and I'd been praying, God, please show me, what do I do next? I don't know what to do. We researched like crazy. And so I've implemented everything I know to implement. I just don't know which step to take next. And so the lady that's the health person there, she comes out, and I talked to her before, and she's like, hey, let me give you a card to this for this lady that's an AIP certified coach. I was like, what? AIP certified coach? That's a thing? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, sign me. I don't care who, sign me up now. Like, I need this. Like, so she gives me her card. I go home. I check out the website. I schedule a call with her. She's actually here in Edmond.
Oh, okay.
So I said, yes, I definitely want to do your 8-week program. And it was one of the best things I ever did, because she has helped me so much through this whole process. And so then in the midst of that, I learned to look for, when I'm doing research, to always put functional medicine after that. So I learned a lot about functional medicine. I've gotten a functional medicine practitioner now. So I'm doing all this work on my health journey, right? And then one day I'll go, wait a second. This is like maybe 5 or 6 months in. I'm like, I wonder if my dress fits today, because I was noticing my jeans were looser and all this stuff. So I put it on and I got the thing zipped. I was so excited. So that's one thing that got manifested on my vision board while I was completely thinking about something else. I was not worried about weight loss. I wasn't worried about like, oh, I should be working out. None of that. I was like, I have got to get healthy. I have got to calm my immune system down. That was the target. That was my focus. So,
but you had that red dress on your vision board, and you look at that and it reminds you, hey, I need to go try that on.
Yes, exactly.
And so if you hadn't put that on there, I might have completely forgotten about the dress and never known you reached that goal.
Exactly. Yes, you're right. And I actually did a photo shoot with my friend. She's a photographer. Did a photo shoot a couple of weeks ago with her, with that red dress and some other clothes too, but definitely with the red dress. So I'll be using some of that for my things to come, social media and different stuff. But so I'm excited about that.
And you need to send me one of those pictures with the red dress
so
we can use it on this episode.
Yes. I'll do that.
Awesome.
Cool.
We've talked about the red dress and how your vision board helps you achieve that goal along with all the other goals that you were working on in terms of your health. And then, I'm sure you've got other goals that you're also continuing to work on.
Yes.
So somebody who's listening to this thinking, yeah, I want a vision board, I want to do this. What would be, the one big tip that you would offer to them to help them get started?
To help you get started, definitely check out my 3-step vision guide on my website, mandysawyer.com, because it's, like I said, it's very simple. And you can definitely put way more on your vision board than what that guide helps you figure out. But that is a good starting point. And then just once you create your vision board, number one, have fun with it. And then number two, make sure you refer to it every day. Just spend 2 to 4 minutes talking it out. I say it and talk it out loud. Like I just go through and I read all of the affirmations that I have. I read all the power words, power phrases I have. I say out loud, referring to the images, I am debt free. I can wear that red dress, whatever it is. And I talk it out loud because that's important, I think. Visualizing, yes, but saying it out loud is even more powerful, I think. Plus, you get that in your head after you've done it, several days or whatever. Like even you might be driving in the car and you'll have those images in your head. And so you can refer to it that way. You're creating new neural pathways in your brain when you do that.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm excited about this. I'm going to have to figure out my own vision board and go get that started. And definitely going to go to your website, mandysawyer.com, and check out that 3-step vision guide. I think it'd be fun too to kind of take some pictures as I go through the process and blog about, my journey and link back to you. And
that would be awesome.
Go listen to your podcast, Dream Big and Kick Ass,
yes.
mandysawyer.com/podcast. So I'm going to check that out as well. Yeah. And those of you who are listening should head on over there too. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story and your vision board project. And I'd love to see, pictures from people who are listening who create theirs and maybe hear some stories about how vision boards have worked for you.
Yes, I would love to hear about those too as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rethink Your Lifestyle podcast, where you learn how to be your own boss. Have questions about starting, growing, or scaling your business? You can ask us anything. Just fill out the form at www.rethinkyourlifestyle.com/askmeanything. And Michelle will answer your burning entrepreneurial questions in an upcoming episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll catch you next time.